Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees. Now, it was almost Panic City at the start of the season. The team was kind of mediocre, but what really made it worse is that across town, the Mets got off to an 11-1 start. You looked up at the AL East, Boston Red Sox were like 17-3, and this team was like floundering around 500, a game under 500. They weren't looking good at all. The bullpen, which was supposed to be the strength, was kind of sluggish. And then things finally turned around. Tommy Kahnle, who, well, the reason he was stinking is because, Vossi was there and he had to go up on the DL. He was obviously hurt. And guys that started to round the form better. Stanton started to finally hit a couple of home runs, and Ben Tontis straightened himself out a little bit. And now the team has got hot just at a good time, peeled off 7 wins in a row out there in the West Coast on a tough 10-game stretch. But if they're going to face these tough teams such as the Angels, Houston, and the Red Sox, now's a good time to get hot. And this was supposed to be the year of Judge and Stanton, we know, of course, and of course we know Didi's good, but we didn't realize it was going to be this good, and he's right emerging as the star of the 2018 roster. Might even be the MVP. Already hitting .368, already has 10 home runs, we're not even done with the month yet, and 30 RBIs. Now, I don't think he's going to end up with 40 home runs, but we could be looking at here the best shortstop in baseball. And think just how far Didi has come. Here's a guy who a couple of seasons ago had to replace the great icon Derek Jeter in his shadow. Came here as a raw talent, not a hot prospect or anything, but there's something that Cashman saw about him and brought him here from Arizona. And each season he's been getting better and better and better and better. To one point he was almost an all-star player, and now, again, you're talking about possible MVP candidate. And the biggest difference this season, though, is that he's been taking his walks. The biggest contributing factor to the turnaround so far early in the season has been the young guys that brought up north. Torres, but mainly Miguel Andrus. He's been tearing the cover off the ball, playing third base. He got multi-hits in his first 7 games this season as a Yankee, a record that ties, Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, pretty good company. And you can see the rest of the roster has been feeding off this guy, who, frankly, the rest of those guys early on, they look like a bunch of zombies, a bunch of stiffs. This guy's coming there, he's been hitting, all of a sudden it's been contagious up and down the lineup. The rest of the team is hitting, and when they peel off 7 wins in a row, directly you can relate that to Miguel Andrus. Now, I forgot to mention this last time, they put a Taco Bell here right across the street. Mix that in beer? I don't know. And now back to the Yankees. In addition to Andrus, it's been Tyler Austin who's been an unexpected source of energy for this team. Obviously, him and Neil Walker were splitting first base when Greg Bird went down, but with Walker not hitting at all, Tyler Austin stepped up. He's been hitting the ball really well. 5 home runs already, kind of already tied with Giancarlo Stanton, even though I think Stanton will win that race. Nevertheless, Austin was a guy you figure, just a part-time player, won't contribute much, a little first base, a little right field. But now he gets to a point where if he keeps hitting like this and Bird comes back, you're like, you know what? Maybe this is not automatically Bird's job again. He's going to have to earn it because right now Austin has it. Now, the added benefit of Austin to get off to a great start is now you don't have to rush Greg Bird back so much. Greg Bird's hurt now, and he's been hurt a lot early on in his career, seems very injury prone, and if no one's producing at first base, whether it's Greg Bird himself or maybe the front office or down at the farm system might want to try to push him up quicker, and then he might end up re-injuring himself, which makes things even worse. So if Austin keeps hitting great, Bird can now just sort of take his normal time, rehab properly, and when he's fully ready, work his way back into the fold. Now, the ineffectiveness of Neil Walker has really opened the door for some of the young guys. Now, he was supposed to be a second baseman. You figure it won't be that too long, but he's really giving the Yankees nothing at this point. Just 2 doubles, no home runs, batting under 200. Hit a couple balls well in Anaheim last night, but here's a guy that, a month or two, if he doesn't really put it together, he could be out the door. In addition to Austin and Bird being an interesting choice for manager Aaron Boone at first base, another big decision is about what happens when Brandon Drury comes back from his migraines. Now you have Andahar at third base tearing the cover off the ball, but Drury was kind of supposed to be the guy as a starter at the beginning of the year. They bought in. In fact, they traded him from Arizona to get him for third base. A little better defensively than Andahar, but again, if Andahar's hitting like this, you got to stick with the hot hand. Now, it'll be interesting to see how long they stick with the young kids. Even if they struggle a little bit, I think they should keep him up here. No offense to Brandon Drury, I'm sorry he's awesome, but I really want to see the potential of Miguel Andrus. I think he has a higher upside than Drury. And Torres, even if he's hitting batting 9th, he's had it hitting great. As long as the team's winning, keep him in there. As long as they go into like a super duper slump, I think frankly, the team, the fans, the front office, they all want to see these kids. So let's let the kids play. And with Torres and Andahar, just look what Cashman has done with this roster age-wise. You have Gary Sanchez, probably one of the best hitting catchers in baseball, early 20s. Tyler Austin, Bird plays hot right now, but still, mid-20s. Even Bird, even though he's hurt, like 25, 26 years old. Torres, early 20s at second base. Didi Gregorious, 26 at shortstop. And now Miguel Andrus, 23. And if Drury's playing, like only 26, 27. So you have this infield now that's under 30 years old. And then you just go to the outfield as well. Judge, he's in his mid-20s as well. So Cashman has quietly put together a great, talented roster. Guys under 30, and they're not really making much money right now. Genius. And at the start of the season so far, Judge and Stanton has been more or less what you expect. Judge doing a little better, almost really picked up from his MVP season last year. Stanton a little slow out of the gate, but I think it's okay. You know, figure he's coming here. He's a California guy who played in Miami many seasons. He's got a cold, misty New York April, a lot of strikeouts, so you know he hasn't really been hot out of the gate. But in recent days, he's been getting more hits, playing some good outfield. So I think he'll turn it on soon. And then when you have both those guys going, and Didi, and now even Gary Sanchez starting to hit the ball out of the ballpark, really makes his lineup very dangerous. Now Jacoby Ellsbury suffered a setback in his rehab. Now he has like a hip problem. So you know what, this guy, take your time. In fact, you don't even have to come back. On the brightest side, Clint Frazier is finally back and past his concussion protocol, playing games in the minor leagues, and maybe we'll see him in a couple of months. And it's funny, the first few weeks of the season, the Yankees were kind of struggling a little bit, losing some games, maybe some bad bullpen decisions at the end. And it was like, maybe Aaron Boone's out of his league. He doesn't know what he's doing. The Yankees made the wrong choice. He belongs back in the booth. And then all of a sudden, Anderhart starts hitting. And you got Didi hitting a home run every night. And Judge is hitting. Now Sanchez hitting. Now Boone looks like a genius. New York. The only thing I'd be concerned with this team at this point would be Sonny Gray. Now, they got him last season to kind of be the ace or maybe be a number 2 starter, help with Severino, help get him deep into the playoffs, and it kind of fell flat. It's kind of a nibbler, goes 5 innings, throws a lot of pitches, had a lot of walks, and this season, been sort of the same deal. Now, I wouldn't push the panic button yet, still early. I still give him a few more starts to figure it out, but you can start seeing people starting to talk about it. The fuse is lit. That if he doesn't really turn it around, people are going to start getting on him a little bit. The media will start getting on him. Talk radio will start getting on him. Hope he doesn't happen, but things are looking gray for Gray. So the team's in a good place. They've cut the deficit in the AL East to the Red Sox from 7 games, which was very scary, to only 3, which is now very manageable. You can make that up in a week. Hitters are starting hitting. Starting rotation pretty stable. Bullpen corrected itself. So sun's coming out. I think the ball's going to start flying out. So the weather's warming up. You might just have to roll up those sleeves.